Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to hopefully my first of at least 2 World of Warships videos this week. Now, unfortunately for you, there's going to be no gameplay in this video, but that doesn't mean it isn't worth watching, at least listening to. I'm making this video whilst this is fresh on my mind, as for a few hours today I've been playing the game, and I'm seeing more and more faults everywhere. So many faults. So, a few months ago, the first and so far only Polish ship in the game, the Błyskawica, was introduced. And, being the money pouring, the money wasting fag I am, I went along and bought one. However, as happens when you buy a ship from the Wargaming premium shop, gift shop, whatever, my commander came with absolutely no skills. This is the equivalent of buying a premium tank and it comes with a 50% crew in World of Tanks. This guy is fresh out of the academy, so to speak. So, let's say I play a game and I get exactly 1,200 experience. I get 1 point in order to spend here, okay? However, it's going to take something like twice as long in order to get the next point. I'm not quite sure there, because I don't really pay that much attention. Sometimes, with all this fancy New Year camo on, which I'm not understanding why it's still there, but sometimes I just blaze through these levels and I have like 3 points after 1 battle. But anyway, the fact is, I've done a bit of calculation. Number 5 here. You need 5 points in order to get this. Concealment Expert. In order to make the Błyskawica a lot more stealthy, because I'm not quite sure about the torpedo range and the concealment. It's only got a surface detectability range of 7.7 kilometers. But the torpedoes have a range of 8 kilometers, which means you've only got about 300 meters of leeway between not being detected and the tip of the range of your torpedoes. If you want to launch your torpedoes in this and guarantee a hit like every other destroyer, you have to go inside detection range. Now, in order to make this ship competitive, in order to make it a lot better, you need this skill here, this commander skill. So it at least reduces the detectability of your ship. I'm not sure if there's anything else like that, if that helps it. But the fact is, you can't get this straight away. And I haven't had any complaints about this commander tree up until now. If you want a destroyer like the Błyskawica, the Minakazi, the Fujin, and even all the ships, basically the ships that revolve around torpedo usage, if you want to do any well in them, you need this, so you stay hidden. But you can't get it straight away. I guess it's because it's sort of an overpowered skill to have immediately, but what happens if you're a really good destroyer captain? Take Flamu, for example. He is an excellent captain in his Kagero. Let's say tomorrow the Błyskawica went on sale and he bought a Błyskawica. Just saying. he would have a stock captain, a unskilled captain. In order to get that skill, he has to work 15 points. Alright? 15! In order to go from a skill on the first tree, to the second tree, to the third tree, levels. First level, second level, third level, fourth level, and finally the fifth level. That's 15 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Just in case you didn't want to do the math yourself. 15 points! And because it takes longer and longer to get points as you level up your captain, you have to play a huge amount of games. Now, yeah, okay, I understand that this game is supposed to be sort of grindy, but I don't understand why it has to take so long to make your commander good. Now this is nothing like the crew skills in World of Tanks, in that you work to say 100% on a skill, and then you work to 100% on another skill. This one, it's like working to 100% 3 times in order to get the superintendent. And all that time. Okay, that made sense in my head. Let me reiterate that. You've got to work. If you immediately set your sights on superintendent, you have to work to 100% once, get a skill. 100% 2 more times, get another skill. 100% 3 more times, finally get the superintendent. And all that time you could be using those crew skills, those points, on something else that you could use. I'm sorry if this doesn't make that much sense to you. It makes sense to me. The fact is, it really shouldn't take this so long in order to get a skill. They should all be unlocked immediately, as far as I'm concerned. And say this one, it will still take 5 points. You still have to work to the 5 points, but at least it should take at least a little bit shorter to get those 5 points. I don't want to. I did the math a few days ago, and it's unfortunately slipped my mind. But it takes a heck of a lot of time in order to get this entire tree. Oh, God. Yeah, and I'm sorry. I'm just not making sense myself anymore. To myself. So. Anyway, that's one thing out of the way. One thing that was brought up in iChase's video, one of iChase's videos anyway, inconsistent damage. I just had a pretty damn good game in my New Mexico. Reminds me why I love this ship, why I loved it in the closed beta. But I was robbed of... Come on. I was robbed of a Kraken. Now, normally it's a kill stealer. And in this case, I guess it was kind of a kill steal. But his shells were already in the air by the time, so... He took the kill, but it wasn't really his fault. It was the fault of my ship and RNG. Look, I got 6 citadels. I did 144, almost basically 145,000 damage with my armor-piercing shells. And where is this guy? This New York, he took 27 of my shells, and he just wouldn't die. Whereas this one, he took 7, and he died. He took a citadel and died. The one time I really could have done with a citadel, because, you know, I wanted a fucking Kraken, it decided that it wasn't going to give me any. I aimed at a certain point, and my shells fell short. This guy was on 12,000 hit points. That's enough for even non-penetrating shells. No, sorry, for shells that don't do any citadels. That's enough to still kill him, and they did 6,000 damage. And eventually this guy, he started border scrubbing. He was attempting to get away. I guess I could have waited a little bit longer, but everyone else was shooting at him. There were like torpedo bombers on the way. I wanted my Kraken, so I took the shot. This guy was on at that point about 5,500 health. I hit. Someone else hit at about the same time. I did like 2,700 damage. This guy was left on 30 hit points. Now, unfortunately, you can't check out other people's stat pages like you can in World of Tanks for some bloody stupid reason. You can't see who was killed by who. But I reckon it was this Nuremberg or the Kuma that landed that one last shell that did that 30 hit points. Which brings me on to another thing. Back in the beta, I had another pretty good game in my New Mexico. Unfortunately, I died in that game. But the game was practically won. This was back before 2-cap domination was a thing. This was when standard battles were, you know, how things were and how they still should be. Anyway, each team was on one ship left. Okay? All the other ships, so like 22 ships, were dead. One ship left on our team and New Mexico, one ship left on their team. A Bogue. Yeah? Bogue. This Bogue was acting in utter desperation. He had no planes left. All he had were 2 5-inch guns that were at the back of his ship. Okay? I actually have a Bogue. I had to buy the bloody thing in order to pass part of a mission, the 150 planes thing. Okay? There are the 5-inch guns. Their shots forward are almost completely occluded. Okay? Now, our New Mexico had been through a hell of a game. He was left on like 118 points. This Bogue was trying to ram this New Mexico, but the New Mexico's secondaries were ripping this Bogue apart. I thought there was no way we could lose, but one single 5-inch shell from the battery, this battery here, hit the New Mexico on the belt armor, and I'll just show you how much. Okay, it says 343 millimeters citadel. I know for a fact that the belt armor of a New Mexico is 13.5 inches thick. A 5-inch shell somehow fired from right directly in forward of the bogue, where it couldn't possibly fire because the bogue itself was in the way, hit this New Mexico on the belt armor, and the New Mexico died. We lost that game because a 5-inch shell, a 5-inch high explosive shell, I guess, because it's a bogue. It's only a 5-inch 38 caliber gun. That's the aircraft. Yep, fires high explosive Mark 32. It hit this New Mexico on the belt. I'll reiterate this. The thickest part of its armor. And that New Mexico died. From a single 5-inch shell. Yeah, okay, this guy had taken a battering. But one 5-inch shell that hits the thickest part of its armor, even if it's a high explosive shell, it should not have killed that New Mexico. So yeah, you can imagine I was pretty pissed. I actually went on the forums about it and complained. And people basically didn't give a shit. Yeah. It would give the bogue a chance, or something like someone said, I think. Yeah, it's totally exactly what a 5-inch high explosive shell would do. Kill a New Mexico class battleship by hitting it on the belt armor with a HE shell. It's exactly what would happen in real life. Now, don't get on at me about this game is not supposed to be totally 100% realistic. Yeah, I understand that. I'm not an idiot. I haven't been living under a rock for the past half a year. I say half a year. Year since this has been released. I know it's not supposed to be 100% realistic. I mean, yeah, okay, ships don't have hit points in real life. They most certainly can't capture circles of buoys in the middle of the ocean. But, you know, it would make sense for a 14-inch shell, a 14-inch shell to penetrate, I don't know, 12 inches of armor, because it's got a high velocity ballistic penetrating cap, whatever. Yeah, that would make sense. What doesn't make sense is for a 5-inch high explosive shell to do exactly the same on even more armor. If it hit the superstructure, I guess, if it set it on fire. But penetrating and killing the New Mexico through the thickest part of the armor? I think you get the point right now. I've said that enough. There was one other thing, wasn't there? I know I've got a bit of a beef to make with the economy. And it's taken me quite a few games to reach 1.8 million credits up here. I'm probably going to have to use it. In fact, I will have to use it on getting the New Mexico's sea hull. Though I think I'm going to wait until I have about 2.4 million credits. But the fact is, if I have the Fuso completely elite now, but I can't buy the Nagato because it costs 6.3 million credits. Okay? 6.3 million credits. It's a tier 7 ship. It's tier 7. And it costs more than a tier 10 tank in World of Tanks. This is the problem. Okay, it's the problem in both World of Tanks and World of Warships, and maybe even World of Warplanes. If you want to buy a tier 10 tank, or in this case a tier 7 ship, you need to get 6 million credits. Now, of course, those credits, they don't grow on trees, so you have to work with the credits. But a tier... I went in my Atago yesterday and can't even show you the results now, can I? No, that's all there is. All she wrote for that today. Yeah, you can't go see the results from yesterday, but I had games in my Atago, my Turpits, my highest tier premiums. They didn't even really do more than 150,000 credits. And that's if I did well. Okay? Well, for a tier 8 ship. Which, guess what? I haven't been doing very well in them. In World of Tanks, things are even worse, because even in a tier 8 premium tank, you can only really make about 100,000 credits in a good game. And that's if you have a good game. Most of the time you're doing about 60, 70, 80,000 credits a game. Here, 100,000 credits. Oh yeah, it's a fairly decent amount, but it takes ages in order to get those credits. You have to literally not buy anything. That for some people that may not be hard. But my Cleveland, my brand new Cleveland, come on. I would rather not have this engine modification. I'd rather have the damage control or the steering gears. I don't know. I'd like to have one of these as well. But if I bought one of these right now, I'd have to play... Oh, let's say I make 100,000 credits a game. Yeah, I'd have to play 10 games in order to be able to be in any sort of position to buy the sea hull for the New Mexico. I have a lot of gripes with this game, and I'm not gonna say anything else because I can't think of anything else at the moment. So I guess later today, maybe even tomorrow. Hang on, tomorrow, maybe even today. I'll get another World of Warships video out. I'm trying to increase my content for this year, and hopefully become a proper community contributor, which means I'll get nice stuff from wargaming. Won't that be nice? See you next time, folks. Good night.